Now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 46 of Fan Fuel Podcast. And this is where Fans Fuel talk about motorsports. So tonight, we're titling ourselves Always Winging It because that seems to be the best thing that we can do. We're always throwing stuff in there when stuff comes about. Steve Carnes, sadly, could not be with us tonight. He was recovering from COVID this week. He was basically on a hour-to-hour basis with us today, whether or not he was going to be up to the podcast tonight. And at a few minutes ago, he said, "I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, guys." And we totally understand that. We wish you the best, Steve. Go ahead and get a quick recovery. We'll have him on in the coming weeks. So don't think that we're just going to keep you guys from a fantastic podcast that we already have planned all the way out. But tonight we're winging it. So tonight we're going to do way too early predictions for the season, and we're going to make this about all motorsports. So let's go ahead and everybody, let's get into it. I'm joined as always by Jared Bakaisa, Nathan Ball, and Colton Cranmore. You can see them all there. Jared, you've been kind of absent the past few weeks. What you been up to?
Just covering a bunch of basketball games, reviewing the JP Graphics brands, giving it out there. But glad I'm back, and this is a good episode to be on. I was looking forward to see Steve tonight. I saw him down at Bristol, but hope he gets better soon.
Yeah, what about you, Nathan? How are you feeling tonight?
It's pretty good. Classes have been pretty busy lately, so I haven't had a lot of free time on my hands, but the rental karting league starts tomorrow, and that'll be the first time I'm in a rental kart since September, so I have no idea how that's going to go. So that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Got that spiffy new helmet.
Yeah.
We showed off a couple of weeks ago. What about you, Colton? You snowed in up there in Wyoming?
Nah, we only got an inch or two outside. It's not too bad.
That's snowed in for us down here in the South.
Yeah, you guys don't have
Y'all get
snowplows
snow?
either.
Yeah.
No, just hanging out, working a lot, watching some Philly Bowl last week. Other than that, I'm really just kind of waiting for racing to get going again. I'm getting bored.
Yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
I am on day 4 when I go into work tonight at midnight of my 9-day stretch. So I am slowly getting more tired, but we're here and we're still kicking ass. That's what we do here at Fan Fuel Podcast. So, guys, way too early predictions for the season. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a couple of questions to you guys. And I'm going to start off with the European circuit and Formula One. So we saw Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton last year. It was one of, if not the greatest in at least modern F1 history, championship battles. And there was still controversy going on all over the internet right now about that final race. But who has more wins next year, and what amount of wins from each of those two drivers?
Well, honestly, this might be a little controversial, but I do think that Red Bull might take a little bit of a step back, and I do think that Mercedes is going to take a step up. So I think that it's not really that bold to say Hamilton goes over 10. I think with 23 or 24 races, however many it is this year, if there's ever a chance to break the single season win record, it's probably going to be this year, assuming that Honda's not able to get what they had in 2021. So I think I'm going to go with probably 12 wins for Hamilton and then 4 for Verstappen. That's just a guess. But
4? Just 4? Wow, okay. All right, what about you, Jared and Colton?
I mean, I agree with Nate in the fact that I think Mercedes isn't going to have a ton of competition this year like they did in 21. I'm going to stick with Nate's 12 for Lewis. I'm going to say Verstappen gets 3. And I'm also going to make a bold prediction that George Russell wins 2 GPs.
Okay.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, I don't think that's very far-fetched.
I don't think it is either if they're that good of a car.
Right.
Absolutely. Jared?
Yeah, I think I'll just agree with Nathan on that. I don't know as many F1 drivers as you guys know, but I'm just going to go. I think Lewis Hamilton's probably going to have at least double digits in wins this year.
So I don't want that to happen, obviously.
Right.
I think that it's still going to be a pretty decent fight between Hamilton and Max. Obviously, with any of these changes, Mercedes just has more money. So they're obviously going to be a foot ahead of everyone else. So I think they'll wind up being the winners in constructors and the drivers' championship. I'm going to scale back a bit. I'm going to say that Lewis Hamilton wins 8 GPs, Max wins 6, and I'm going to throw George Russell's name in there for 4 or 5 GPs because I feel like we haven't seen his true potential. And if they let the 2 Mercedes race, which I think we all hope they should, I think George can he can do it.
I agree. I just think it's going to take a while because I think race pace is my only concern with him. Like he's really good in qualifying. Same with Valtteri, Nico Rosberg. All of Hamilton's teammates are really good in qualifying, but when it comes to the race, you've seen the last couple of years, he just blows the doors off everybody else. And Russell himself, he wasn't as convincingly ahead of Latifi as I would have wanted him to be. So I'm a little bit, part of me's concerned. I'm like, if he's close to Latifi, then what's going to happen with him?
I mean, he did almost win that Bahrain GP when he was subbing for Bottas. So I feel like at the right. Oh no! Whoa. Oh no! That is a very bold prediction.
That's a bold one.
Verstappen repeats 2022 as champ, even though Hamilton will win more races.
I wouldn't complain.
That is bold. That would
complain.
Be something that is definitely possible in the Formula One point series if Hamilton has a lot of DNFs. Does that mean that he thinks that we're going to see a lot of fighting on track between the 2 drivers, the 33 and the 44?
I feel like every time they're next to one another, one of them's either going to get pushed off the track or one of them's just going to be in the wall. Like there's no such thing as them making it through a corner together. Like it's never happened, and it probably never will.
Well, I mean, I guess it's good to see a bunch of that fighting, but I don't know. It was kind of excessive in 2021. I don't know if the FIA is going to let it continue for the next few years because that rivalry hopefully will be around for a good while.
Well, they will if they still have the same race directors.
Yeah. Well, we don't talk about Michael Massey in good light if you're any part of Formula One fans. With that being said, let's keep it in the open wheel world. Let's come back to the Indianapolis 500, and we'll start on IndyCar with that. Who is going to win the Indianapolis 500, and who is someone who is going to DNF that you think is a contender for that race?
Ooh. Well, for starters, for DNF, I think that Graham Rahal is usually a main contender in that race for the last 3 or 4 years, but he's just had horrendous luck. I mean, look at this year. He was in a good position in the top 5. He probably could have fought for the win. A wheel just fell off his car. That was it. So if there's anyone that's going to be strong but just have no luck, it's probably him. Winner, I think I'm going to have to go with Pato for that. He was in the top 10 as a rookie when Chevy was kind of on the back foot. He was, I think, 4th this year or last year. And I don't really see him taking any steps back. I think that his first couple of years at Indy have been really good, and I think McLaren's probably going to get better. So I think I'm going with him.
Well, Nate, you took my pick for the winner, so I'm just going to go outside the bubble here. I'm going to say DNF of a contending car, probably Scott Dixon is what I'm going to say.
Really?
We've seen him have some bad luck there in the past. Granted, it's not very frequently that he does. But I think that's going to be the big talking point of the race is Scott Dixon getting knocked out. And I'm going to say Alex Palou wins the Indy 500.
Man, I want that so bad.
Yeah. I was going to choose Pato, but I don't want to fall right in line again.
Jared?
Let's see. I'm looking up. Let's see. This is another thing I'm not really that familiar with IndyCar.
We got to get you into IndyCar.
Yeah, I got.
Gonna regret it.
That makes it more fun because if you're right, we all look stupid.
Right. How about is Helio Castroneves still racing? Is he still?
Yes.
Yes, he won the Indy 500 last year.
Oh, he won. Do you think he'll win?
He's going full. He's going full season this year as well.
That's a good shout. Like a really good shout.
Is it normal for guys to go like back to back?
He's the last guy to do back to back. He did it in 01 and 02.
Yeah.
So he could do it again.
How about about Alexander Rossi? I've heard that name before.
That'd be a
Is
big one.
is that a good pick to? I'll go with
I
that for my
think
pick.
that's a pretty good wild card. Like he was really,
Yeah.
really dominant a couple years ago, and then ever since the Aero screen came in, he's kind of just. I wouldn't say he was terrible, but he just hasn't been great either. Like he hasn't won a race since then. But I do think that he's always a shout out at that race. Like no matter what year it is, he always seems to do well there. So
All right, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that. Alexander Rossi is my wild card win pick, and a contender to go out. About Graham Rahal. Is he usually good?
he's got terrible luck.
Yeah. All right. So both the names that I was going to say have already been said. So Pato Award would be my fixture for the Indy 500 win. But since it's already been taken, I think I'm going to go down the list a little bit, and I'm going to say that we're going to get a third Indy 500 championship from Takuma Sato. And for our contender who will not make it to the end of the race, we're going to see Elio Castroneves DNF on lap 16 with an engine failure. Mark that down.
I mean, you're really specific, aren't you? Another one I never really thought of is there's a lot of different things for Indy next year that are going to be super fun to watch. I don't know who. I really don't think I could confidently make a prediction for this race. I mean, Montoya is another wild card because he's a part-timer and he finished in the top 10 last year as a part-timer. So I feel like if I had to pick one wild card, I'd go with him, but I think I'm going to stick with Pato for the overall.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the 2022 championship for IndyCar. Who's going to win the championship?
Oh, dear. This is a tough one, but you're putting.
I'll go ahead and say for myself, after Pato Award's season in 2021, if he cleans up one or two races, he is the champion over Alex Palou. So I think he will be doing that this year.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I'm going to go with a constant. He's always there, always pretty much in contention every year since he joined Penske, and that's Newgarden. I think that he did really good last year. He actually stole second in points because of Pato's mechanical failure at Long Beach, and Penske didn't really have the best year last season. So I think if Penske's back to where they normally are, then he's going to be pretty tough to beat.
Who did you say, Alex? You said Pato?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So Colton is going to dictate all of our predictions to see where we're at. I assume that's why I hear Marker scribbling.
Yeah.
I am, because I don't even want to say it because I'm throwing such a wild card out there. It's not that big of a wild card, all right? I'm not picking Jimmy Johnson to win this sumbitch. But he improved quite a bit last season from where he started. He was fairly consistent towards the end there. I do like Chad's prediction. Jimmy Johnson finishes top 15 at the Indy 500. We'll get to that one here in a second. Big open wheel star. Fucking.
Whoa. That's a bold one, yeah.
If he wins the championship, it would make my heart just melt after that shit he went through in Bahrain and how shitty of a Formula One driver he was. I only say that because he crashed a lot, not because he doesn't have talent.
Wrecked a lot.
Right. I would love to see that.
I'm interested in that too because I think a lot of
it. And he is driving for Andretti too this year, right? He's not driving for Dale Coyne anymore.
No, it's Andretti, and I think a lot of it's going to hinge on number one, his teammates Colton Herta, and number two is consistency because it feels like that's been the Achilles heel of his whole open wheel career. I mean, he was on the podium and then he was suspended for wrecking a bunch of people in the same season. Like if he could just put it together for a whole season, he might actually win it.
Yeah, I agree, and he's a little bit older now too. Especially getting up there in age, I feel like he's a lot calmer than he used to be.
He's still super exciting though.
He is. I mean, I love watching the race. I'm super glad that he came over stateside and is racing IndyCar now.
Yeah, to me, he is just another Takuma Sato type who is just all attack all the time, and that can get him in trouble a lot. Like is what, especially when we saw him at Lotus and Haas. So, all right, Jared, what about your 2022 IndyCar champion?
How about Colton Herta?
Ooh.
Okay, that's going to be
a pretty good pick too. Like he was fast. He was really fast.
He's going to have to calm. He's going to have to calm down. He can't make stupid mistakes like he did at Nashville this year.
That was a rough one. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he had like 2 or 3 victories get away from him last year just because of mistakes and bad luck.
All right, and before we get back, we just got confirmation from Steve Carnes. He will be on the show for February 2nd for the makeup date. And I don't know that I'll be here. I think I might be at work, so we'll have to see about all that. So you guys will be having to take care of that for me. Just wanted to shout that out right now. And Colton, I think.
Yeah, Chad is lighting up our chat here already.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one.
Good old Flagman Dixie. He says Jimmy Johnson finishes top 15 in the Indy 500. I agree with that. In addition to that, I'm also going to say that Jimmy gets a win this season. It's going to be on an oval. And I'm going to say he finishes top 15 in points as well.
Whoa, that's a bold one. This is the
win?
fun part.
There's 4 races on ovals? The Indy 500,
Gateway,
and then
Texas.
There's an Iowa too, isn't there?
There's 2 Iowas and 1 Texas.
Okay.
So that's 5 chances to win an oval. You really think that he's going to do it?
Yep.
Wow.
I'd be willing to bet any or all of you guys $5 that he's going to do it.
I will say that you are totally wrong, because look at what we got in NASCAR the last couple of years that he was driving. We got the 550 package and the 750 package before that. Momentum racing is not a strong suit of Jimmy Johnson, and despite that he will be more acclimatized to oval racing, it is momentum racing in IndyCar. So I don't think that he's going to do well.
I don't think that he's not gonna be terrible on him. I think he'll have a couple good runs, but it's just I could see a podium. Ovals, I think Newgarden, I think Pato, I think Pelot said he's gonna improve a lot on ovals this year. So I think
Grosjean's gonna be a definitive person on ovals as well. I mean,
yeah,
that Gateway race showed that he can pass. He passed like 27 cars that day because he kept having pit stop issues.
It's gonna be really interesting. Like I think if he wins a race, I'd be extremely shocked. Like I think that would be like an enormous upset.
If he wins a race, it's going to be because the finale of Detroit Belle Isle as a racing circuit is going to be clogged up on the back straight or around the fountain, and he was the only car that didn't get involved. And I don't say that to discount Jimmy Johnson's talent. I just don't think that it's early enough in his career that a wholehearted move to a different discipline of racing is capable. I think he could finish 12th max in the points, but I doubt he gets a win.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet any of you guys $5 he gets 1 win.
I mean, where do you guys think that he's going to finish in points, Jared and Nathan?
It's so hard to predict the points because there's like 20 people that could win these races any given week. So I feel like he could end up 12th, he could end up 22nd, who knows? I think maybe 16th might be a safe spot for him. I don't know, but maybe it's too high, maybe it's too low. That's just a guess.
Yeah, I'll go with like the 13th through 16th range.
Yeah. I'm not going to expect a lot from him. I think he's just, taking his fun elsewhere. Obviously, NASCAR not having the fun cars anymore, not being competitive, the grind of the 38 weeks. That's not what Jimmy wants. He races when he wants now, basically. I mean, 18 races in a couple of those being double headers. He's only got 16 weekends in IndyCar plus the Indy 500 qualifying weekend and 4 weekends in IMSA. Like, he can go do whatever he wants with his family and still be a race car driver. I mean, he's living his best life right now. And with that, let's go ahead and say, does the Ally 48 DPI get a win at one of these 4 endurance races? That is the Petite Le Mans, the 6 hours of the Glen, 12 hours of Sebring, and the Rolex 24 here in the next weekend.
I think if I had to pick one of them that he's going to win at, I think it's going to be Watkins Glen or Sebring. I just think the Rolex 24 is super unpredictable. I know last year they were really fast at the middle part of the race, but toward the end, it seems like it's always Wayne Taylor. So
yeah,
I don't know if they're going to win that race, but I do think last year they had a good shot at Sebring until there was some sort of penalty. I don't remember who won the Glen, so I couldn't really comment on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win Sebring.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think if he does win, it'd probably be at Watkins Glen.
I'm all about polarizing takes tonight. No,
Oh,
they're not
my
going to win.
They're not going to win. I definitely agree with that. I
There's
think
a
the
lot of-
Ally 48 team has a massive amount of talent, but I don't know that they have enough. I will say that they did put up some good numbers when I was at the Rolex last year during the middle part of the race, just like Nathan said. But that's not good enough to win a 24-hour endurance race. You have to be on the limit 24 hours straight because I mean we're not racing endurance races anymore. We're racing just long ass sprint races. So
Right. Yeah, it's not the Rolex
really interesting.
13, it's the Rolex 24.
right.
Yeah. Oh, there's another comment from Chad. He said that would Sato be able to win for 3 different teams? Because
That is,
I don't. Is it confirmed what ride he's going to have for the 500? Or
I'm not sure if he's been.
I feel like I don't know
there.
if he's full time. I doubt he's full time.
He's gonna have a ride for the 500. If he doesn't, somebody
Yeah.
needs to be shot. I mean,
Like he's got to get in that race.
he is just one of the craziest drivers and one of the most exciting drivers in Indy cars on oval. He's got to be in the Indy 500, and that was my prediction that he would be the winner. So yeah, he's gonna win for 3 different teams. Maybe we see him go drive for Ed Carpenter or someone. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
All right, so we just had the Tulsa Shootout and the Chili Bowl over the last couple of weeks. Colton, Jared, do we want to make an announcement of what's going on later this week and get into some prediction on dirt?
Yeah, so we've been hitting that on. I think we mentioned it on here a couple times. Jared, right above me here, and I. Last night we recorded a pilot episode for our new podcast. It's going to be under the Fanfield Motorsports banner called Slick Track Podcast, where we cover dirt racing. We are going to do. Jared pointed out last night, we're going to do a lot of race recaps throughout the week just because there's all kinds of dirt racing going on. We're going to do some predictions. We're going to try to sit down with drivers. Jared, I mean, we had a good time last night. We got a few kinks to work out. We know that.
Yep.
What do you think moving forward?
I think, are we going to get into prediction? Are we doing predictions? Is that what we're talking about? Or are we just talking about the show? Is that
The show right now, and then we'll get into some dirt predictions.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for this show. It's going to be a lot of, like Colton said, a lot of recaps. I hope, like you said, there's so much dirt racing. There's so many different series we're going to try to cover, from like late models to super dirt cars to sprint cars, obviously. And I'm excited for that. You know, we just had the Chili Bowl. We recapped that a little bit in the episode yesterday, which I got to watch my first Chili Bowl ever, and I'm really excited about next year because I think I'm going to try to clear my schedule and actually watch a lot more than I was able to this year.
speaking of Chili Bowl, I think the elephant in the room is probably MAV TV. I think there were millions of complaints I saw on Twitter, and I watched the free link that somebody gave me, and I have to agree. Like, I've never seen an entire race broadcast that's like that problematic. Like, they were forgetting what lap it was. They had no idea what was going on, like, at all.
So let me hit on this because I watched the only race I missed all week was the A main on Thursday night, and that's because I passed out. I was so tired. Flow racing they made mistakes in the week, and that's fine. That's understandable when you're broadcasting several hundred races. They will do like, is this the white flag? And then get halfway around and be like, yes, this is. Mav called the white flag 3 times in the last B main. Like, it was stupid. My biggest gripe with that was we saw excellent coverage of flow. If there was a battle, they would follow it around the track for a couple laps if they had to. MAV TV would cut their camera angle. And when they would cut the camera angle, they'd do it like 16 times a lap. And then they'd cut the camera angle away from the battle.
Yeah.
So, like, you'd be watching. I'd be like, okay, there's Tyler Courtney. And then flip it around and change camera angle. And now I'm not watching Tyler Courtney anymore. Now I'm watching Rico Abreu with no cars around him. And then they flip it again. And now I'm watching Brady Bacon about to get lapped. What the hell is going on? They missed the only pass for the lead in the A-main. Their coverage was absolute dog shit. It kept cutting out on me. And, of course, the MAV TV little logo is still at the bottom of the screen. Absolutely atrocious. It was an embarrassment to know that we had hundreds of thousands of people watching it, and the viewership was up over 60% this year. And that's what they learned, was that MAV TV was terrible, and people were lighting it up all over Twitter and Facebook.
Okay, so I got a couple of gripes. One with MAV TV, and I'm not sure. I don't know what you guys discussed on the podcast, but for me, they did what some of the NASCAR broadcasts do, and they will be focused in on a battle, and they will be focused in on something that's about to happen. And as soon as a wreck starts, they go to a different camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't watch racing for the wrecks, but when it comes to midget racing, they are spectacular. So it's like I want to watch the chaos ensue. I want to watch Brady Bacon go 33 feet in the air and slam back down, hoping to God he doesn't break his vertebrae. That shit's fucking crazy. They only have a flip counter at the Chili Bowl because everybody thinks it's cool to watch these cars flip because they're going slow enough that we assume that everyone's going to be safe. Maybe that that is a little bit of us being complacent, but it is what it is. I don't know. MAV TV blew it. I did have a conversation with Colton in our group chat about this, but what the hell? This was the first time I've watched the Chili Bowl, right? So I've watched midget racing. I've watched dirt racing my whole life. This is the first time I've actually sat down and watched Saturday to watch the Chili Bowl. And they did track work and prepped a perfectly blue grooved racetrack from top to bottom groove where we see passing in both lanes, and they tilled it up and repacked it down, and we had a single line the whole 55 lap A-main. What the fuck is that? Why did we do that? We could have been over with the Chili Bowl an hour and a half earlier if we just didn't do track prep. All you had to do was send some guys out there to pack down the top groove a little bit, make sure that the berm was just a little bit higher, and then you're good. Just grate the berm up just a snatch. Send some packer cars out there for 15 laps, then start the Chili Bowl. What was that like? And you said that's normal, Colton.
That happens every year. Last year was the first time I'd actually watched the Chili Bowl all the way through, and I was pissed when I saw that. I was pretty livid because now they're not starting until 11 o'clock my time. Was not having a good time at all. I agree with you. Till the top a little bit. You don't have to completely knock down the top. Just knock that berm down a little bit. Water the piss out of the bottom of the middle groove. Send the Jeeps out there, do a few laps, call it good. The cars themselves, there's 24 cars out there for a 55-lap A-main. Within 20 laps, that's going to be a super racy surface.
Right.
That's what they were shooting for all day, and instead they completely just wiped it down from scratch.
Well, it was beautiful during the last couple of B-mains.
It was
amazing. Right? That was what I would be on the flag stand with my dad, behind me being like, this track is about to put on a damn good feature. These fans are going to have fun. And it just disappeared. Like, I could see them pushing the berm a little bit closer to the wall and then just not even watering the shit out of the bottom, just dusting it a little bit, with water and just packing down the loose dirt on top so that there's still blue groove there because blue groove provides the best racing, in my opinion. It was a single file run all the way around the bottom, and then they moved up to the top because the top had more grip. And there was one pass for the lead, like you guys said. It was very disappointing. Cody F. and Powers, who are these guys? Man, who are you?
I ain't never been on their show, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, right?
And then Chad chiming in. I mean, that's a good point. Track prep. You could still do a 20-minute track prep and get all your commercials in.
Well, you know what? We don't need MAV TV, so we don't need commercials because we're going to pay for flow anyways, right?
I would be willing to pay an extra $200 just for the seed A-mains to flow. I don't
know about $200, but
I paid $100 to MAV TV.
Right.
For that
so, but it's $150 a year. Let's say Saturday at the Chili Bowl, extra $20 pay-per-view. I'd pay that.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Or $50 for
just for like premium coverage. Did anyone see Smoke? They're managing the track prep. I don't think he was in the past years. No, he does. He wasn't there. I know for sure last year he wasn't there. But he does the mentor Chili Bowl Gravel, they call him. He's the track prep guy there. So it doesn't surprise me he was there.
The track prep was really good up until the fact that they re-prepped it for the A-main.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, the track looked good all week from the highlights and everything that I saw. It was a good looking track until they just made it new for the A-main for no reason at all. So moving on, Jared, I know that you wanted to add in some, and Colton, you as well some stuff for us to predict about the dirt world this year. So go ahead and lay us on them.
All right, so who's everyone's Knoxville Nationals prediction winner this year?
I want to pick my favorite guy in Sheldon Hodenshield. However, I'm going to go with that Dryden car, Logan Schuchart.
Okay.
He really did surprise me last year. He won the first 2 races of the year, I'm pretty sure. He was running good for most of the year. I think he finished 5th in points. He's one that I'd really like to see do well.
Okay. Alex, Nathan?
I think sentimentally, I would like to see Casey Kane win. I doubt that happens. So I don't know. Let's see if we can get somebody like a Brady Bacon into the Knoxville Nationals and come out there and win it.
That'd be cool.
Ooh, so this is gonna be interesting to me. I don't really follow a lot, but I do know a couple big names. I know last year Kyle Larson broke through and he won that race. I'm a big believer in the fact that when it rains, it pours. So if he does run that race this year, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to back, just because it's the same thing with the Chili Bowl for him. I know that he kind of knocked on the door for a couple of years before he finally won that race. And once he's able to break through, I feel like it's going to happen again. So that's just a big if. That's if he runs that race.
Okay, he probably will win.
Crown jewels.
Like he's definitely going to make sure to run that. I think. Okay, yeah, I think Donnie Schatz is going to get it. He had a real good car last year, but Kyle Larson just beat him there towards the end. But I think he's going to get back in there and win it.
How many does he have? I think he has like 4 of them. Some bitches.
Yeah, I think the Knoxville Nationals are too big. I think that Donnie Schatz is going to win the Kings Royal.
Okay, that's a good prediction.
See, and that's not a bad prediction either, because Donnie Schatz is still a super, super good sprint car driver. We all knock him down because he's old and he hasn't won the title last few years. But man, that dude can still drive the wheels off of some bitch.
Yeah.
Chad has a bold prediction that David Gravel is the next the Knoxville Nationals champion.
Okay.
I could see that. Gravel's been doing pretty good. He's moving. He's no longer at Jason Johnson Racing. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with this new ride. But, I mean, we know that Gravel can wheel it, especially Jared and I. We've seen him do it for a while now. He's a pretty damn good driver.
Well, since we're bringing up David Gravel, we'll get into our World of Outlaws champion, and David Gravel is actually my prediction to win the championship next year. I don't think Brad Sweet wins 4 in a row. I think David Gravel had a really good second half of the year last year, at least that I noticed. Like, he had a really fast car in a lot of the races I watched towards the second half of the year. So I think he's going to carry that momentum into next year, and I think he's going to get the title.
Jared, did you not hear me just say he's switching teams?
Still.
He's a good pick. I think Sweet gets him on. Man, he's been hot the last few years. He has been slowing down. He's not quite as fast as we saw him in 2019, but I still think Sweet gets another one. Yeah, he's consistent enough that he gets it.
I'm a little bit of bias. Brad Sweet's my favorite driver in the World of Outlaws, so Brad Sweet will get 4 in a row.
Well, you guys completely stole that from me. I don't know enough about dirt, but I do know that he's really good. So I was gonna go with him, and y'all took it, but I don't really care. I'm still sticking with him, so it is what it is.
I'm waiting for my guy Sheldon Hodenshield to get more consistent. He will be a title contender within the next 3 years, like a serious title contender. Mark my words.
I mean, he's got the talent. He's just not got the experience so far. I don't think that your words are anywhere in the false range. So let's move on to the opposite side of the spectrum, from the open wheel massive wings to the closed wheel super late models. Who is going to win the Rico Abreu?
I forgot he's running full-time World Outlaws next year. That's a good fucking pick too. Go ahead, Alex. I just want
to so who's going to win the dirt late model dream next year at Eldora?
Kyle Larson.
I don't know that Kyle Larson has raced that. I don't think
I'm sure
got enough time with NASCAR.
Well, when is it? I think I saw it's on a what day is it?
It's always a Saturday.
Saturday.
I think the only reason he ran it this year is because they had one on Thursday night.
I'm gonna tell you who the winner is. I don't even need to predict it. I'm gonna tell you who it is.
Jonathan Davenport.
No. Brandon Pierce.
Okay.
That number 32, super aggressive driver. I think he's gonna get it done.
I mean, I literally only know 2 drivers, and that's Shepard and Davenport. But I don't want to be basic and pick Davenport, so I'll just pick Shepard. Who knows? I'm throwing names out of a hat at this point.
Chad in the comments is being basic and picking down.
Listen. Okay, so here's the hierarchy of what's going to happen. My dad's known him for quite some time, so I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times. But what I didn't know is Mark Martin's favorite super late model driver is Jonathan Davenport, and my favorite driver growing up was Mark Martin. So if Mark Martin thinks you're going to win a bunch of these races, come home with almost $1 million in winnings every year, I think I'm going to have to pick you too. So yeah, I'm going to have to
Who do you
agree
think's
with
going to win it?
Late models, I'm also kind of in this. I don't follow them as much. I'm still trying to get into that. I just know Dan. I can't even say it. Davenport and Shepard. Those are like the. Oh, I know Devin Moran too. That's another late model guy I know.
Shannon Babb. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
He's
good old 18 car.
Yeah, he's super good at the Gateway Dirt Nationals.
Yeah, that's an interesting race that I don't ever tune into. It's just, I don't know. I've never really watched it. Is it as good as what we see with the Chili Bowl and everything?
No, Chili Bowl's in a league of its own. It's better than the Tulsa Shootout. It's probably my second favorite. I probably wouldn't even say second favorite. It's probably top 10 as far as my favorite dirt races. If you have Flow, it'll be on the first week of December. Super cool. They race V8 late models and modifieds inside the Rams old stadium in St. Louis. The track just gets beat to absolute shit, so you can see guys really wheeling it around. Super cool race.
Yeah. So one final dirt prediction from me. We had talked about this a couple weeks ago, the four of us. Do we see Fan Fuel at the Dirt Track World Finals in Charlotte this year?
I'm gonna try.
As far as all of us representing?
As far as at least 2 of us.
You might get 2 out of 4.
I think we get 2 out of 4.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2 out of 4 too.
I know I'm gonna be spending a bunch of money and going to all the PA races they have. I'm definitely gonna go to the National Open, Williams Grove this fall. I'm trying to figure out my schedule. I'd like to try to go to the Kings Royal this year, just because Eldora is only, I think, 7 or 8 hours away from me, maybe a little bit less, but it's like in that range where I could take a couple of days off and go see it. That'd be something that'd be really cool to go see.
Alex, how far of a drive is it from Charlotte from where your dad is?
We are about 6 hours away, so probably 5 for him.
So
that's not
possible. I'm going to leave me open to it. I'm not going to guarantee shit, but I'm definitely open to it. He said it's a 5-hour drive for him. So, I mean, as long as I could stay there, it's definitely open. Cheyenne, if you're watching, we may be going to Charlotte this year.
Colton, are you still trying?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Colton, are you still trying to go to Knoxville at some point?
Probably not this year, but 23, it's definitely on my list.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. I don't think it's going to be this year for me either, but I think next 2023 is probably the year I might try.
That's going to be a bit more of a convincing thing because there's nothing to do in Knoxville, Iowa, other than the racetrack. So
that's all you need out there.
That I want to do before I take the big move out east, because I think Knoxville's 12 hours from me, which if you live in the Midwest is a day's drive and pretty close. So that's definitely one I would drive out to go see. So Jared, if you want at some point, you guys could fly up here.
I think I'm going to have to. I don't think I'm trying to drive 15 hours. Well, actually, I don't even know how far.
Nah, I'll drive. If you get here, I'll drive.
Man,
that ain't shit.
So when we went to Mexico, I was in the car for 24 hours, so I'm good.
Yeah, that's me to Talladega. 24 hours.
All right, so we've rounded out our superlatives as far as excess motorsports. Anything else before we move on to the world of NASCAR?
Oh man, this is I don't know. I feel like if we can end the show, like once we end the show, I'll probably come back to it because I know there's stuff I'm gonna think of, but it's just not there right now. So it'll come to me.
All right.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right then. Well, we were gonna say something to Steve Carnes about his Buffalo Bills and kind of shoot some shit about the NFL playoffs right now. I know, Jared, you guys didn't have any hope of making it, and then we got flustered with the Rams because they screwed us yet again by losing to the 49ers. We should have been in the playoffs with the Saints. But not so much. So, who do you guys think are going to be your teams that go to the AFC, NFC championships in the Super Bowl?
Since I'm an avid football fan, I'll go
Probably come
first.
next then.
I would say what's most likely going to happen is we're going to see another Buccaneers Chiefs Super Bowl. Have to be my guess because you can't really go against Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady's just going to end up winning like he's honestly probably going to win like 12 Super Bowls in his career. Like he's not, he has no no needs of slowing down. I mean, he threw more touchdown passes than his age, and he's 44 years old.
Yeah.
You don't see that. I mean, like
No, you don't.
Like Eli Manning couldn't make it as long as him. Peyton Manning couldn't make it as long. Drew Brees couldn't make it as long. Tom Brady's still out there just breaking records and everything. So it's going to be hard to see anyone else beat Tom Brady. But if anyone does beat Tom Brady, I could see it being the Rams.
Right.
I could see that they just have a really good offense with OBJ and Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford's finally being able to show that he's like an elite quarterback.
So
now that he's out of Detroit.
So in LA, I thought that he was going to do better than he was. I had initially said the Rams were going to make the Super Bowl. And I'm going to rescind that because he has not been as good as I thought he was. I think he made the move out of Detroit too late in his career to really blossom as the elite quarterback. I don't think he's as good as he could have been if he would have not been in Detroit for what was it, 8 seasons, something like that. So I've got the Bucks and Chiefs going at it again. And I think Patrick Mahomes is gonna take the rematch. I don't think that's a big what if. I think that's a solid pick because I mean he's just getting the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He choked all year, so I mean he might as well make it count, right?
Yeah, I'll say for my AFC prediction while we're at it, I think if it's not the Chiefs, I think it's going to be the winner of the Chiefs and Bills game. I think whoever wins that's going to go to the Super Bowl.
That's usually how the AFC Championship works.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with that. I think the Bills versus the Chiefs is going to be super interesting. The Bills looked really, really good the last time they played. Other than that, for the NFC, I think it's going to be a toss-up between Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Eventually, Green Bay's got to make a Super Bowl, but I don't think it's going to happen again. So I think I'm going with Tampa for the Super Bowl, and I think they're probably going to win another Super Bowl as well.
Before you get into yours, Colton, bold prediction: San Francisco is not going to let Green Bay walk out of Lambeau Field this weekend.
Whoa, that's a bold one.
Yeah.
I could see that still. Like Devo Samuel's pretty good, I think. I've really started following the 49ers a little bit too, just in the last couple weeks, and he's pretty good.
I'm going to be completely honest. This is the only time of year I follow football because it's the only time I find it interesting. Is the playoffs. Josh Allen was a Wyoming Cowboy. He was drafted number 6 overall by the Bills out of the University of Wyoming. Super cool dude. I will not tolerate any Josh Allen slander. The Chiefs are not beating the Bills this weekend. I don't give a shit. I think Bills are going to the Super Bowl. All right, I'll go buy us a jersey. I don't care.
If the Bills make it to the Super Bowl, if the Bills go to the Super Bowl, I am going to root for them to win. I don't see anyone trampling the Buccaneers, and I hate Tom Brady with a passion. Just like I think anybody did when they hated Jimmy Johnson for winning so damn much. I'm in the same boat. I somewhat respect Tom Brady, but also fuck him. He should have retired, and he ruined his record.
Yeah, it's getting annoying because as somebody who grew up in the Tampa area, probably let's say 5 or 6 years ago, you probably couldn't give away tickets to a Bucks game, and now everyone is like, "Oh, I was a Bucks fan my whole life," and it's like, "No, you weren't. I never saw you say anything about the Bucks."
See, I
until
can't.
now.
I can't even
like-
name some of the quarterbacks before. I know Jameis Winston was their quarterback, and I have no clue who even
Mike
was their.
Glennon, Josh Freeman.
Brad
I
Johnson.
grew up here, so I'm not a Bucks fan, but I know a lot about them because they're on the news all the time, and it was not a good time for these people.
Do you know what Bills stands for? The team name Bills.
What's that?
It's
It
Bill.
stands for boy, I love losing Super Bowls.
See, don't be saying stuff like that because then we'll never be able to get somebody like TJ Majors on the show.
Yeah. Well, TJ, I'm sorry. I'm still a big fan of your quarterback. All right.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on back to our four-wheeled motorsports, asphalt, a little bit of dirt, NASCAR Cup Series. We're going to start with the Clash, then we'll move on to some Xfinity and truck predictions, and then we'll come back and we'll go ahead and make our playoff grid all the way to Phoenix yet again. So, anyways, boys, Clash, let's go. How many cautions are we going to have? Who's going to win it? And who's not making the show?
It's 150 laps, right?
It's 150 laps. 36 charter teams will be there. 24 cars make it, and I think Larson is the only person that is
Locked
already in the Amen. So, who's not going to make it? That's a big name. And how many caution laps are we going to have? Or cautions, not caution laps.
I think we have 9 cautions. I think a big name that's not going to make it is. That's a tough one.
That is tough.
I think I know who I'm going with here.
I
Go
know
ahead, Nate.
exactly who's not going to make it.
Go ahead, Nate.
I feel like if there's somebody who's not going to make it, but maybe by design, I feel like Hamlin could possibly miss this race. And I don't think he'd be overly upset about it just because this happened in the 500 testing. They blew a motor really late in the test. And instead of come back the next day, they're like, you know what? We don't need to tear anything up. We're just going home. So, and they're limited on cars. They don't have many cars that are ready to race. Right. I think somebody at the track I talked to said that was one of like their 2 cars that they had fully built. So I think if one of these big names misses a race, I don't think they're going to feel sorry. I think they're like, you know what? This is a car we could race with. That's it. But if we're going surprises, I think Hamlin's probably like a huge name. So that's where I'm going.
I'm going to go ahead and go with his teammate. Kyle Busch is not going to make the main event.
Ooh.
And I think we're going to have at least 7 cautions, which is a little bit over, I should say, every 10 laps.
You kind of took my pick. I was actually going to be anti-biased and say that Kyle Busch is going to miss it somehow. He's going to get caught up in some sort of wreck or start getting a draw and just start in the back.
If there's anybody that can't get somewhere based on luck, it is Kyle Busch. He is the most talented driver most of the time, and when he is not, luck just is like, fuck this guy. So, yeah.
I mean, he's pretty lucky, but
I'll say 8. I'm going to go with 8 cautions. 8 cautions in the race. Big name to miss it out since you kind of took mine. Let's go Brad Keselowski doesn't make the E-main.
Brad Keselowski's a short track guy. I don't think he's missing it. What are we counting as a big name here? Are we counting
basically your
let's do
any of the big teams, basically, yeah.
So maybe your top 12 drivers, in your opinion, because we might have different top 12s.
I'm saying Christopher Bell misses it.
Okay. I don't see that at all. I think this is basically Chili Bowl on asphalt. So
no, I think you're wrong. Yeah.
I don't think so. My dad says Harvick misses transferring, and that's another name that I could see happening.
Yeah, I don't see that.
He doesn't like Martinsville Harvick, so I think that might be a decent idea.
Yeah, but he still runs well there.
Yeah, I mean, what do you consider well though? Like he runs like 10th there most of the time.
He's consistent. He's consistently top 15.
But
that doesn't get you out. That doesn't get you out of trouble in a 25 lap heat, though.
No, yeah,
and a 35 lap LCQ at that.
I mean, I think he's aggressive enough too. He'll make it.
Yeah. Okay.
And Gene Haas has the money. If they need to fix a car and completely fucking rebuild it, they can.
Then why didn't they go to Daytona testing?
Gene Haas likes Christmas. I don't know, man.
No, I tell you why. Because they fucking sent their crew guys down there with RWR as the guinea pig. So if they wrecked a car, Rick Ware would have to pay for the bill on
Well,
the
then
car.
Gene Haas is a genius.
I know, and I had arguments on Twitter with people because they were like, Stuart Haas must be in very bad shape because they're not sending their cars down there." And I was like, "No, Rick Ware is a part of their technical alliance now. He doesn't need to send cars and his resources down there. He can literally just take data from them. And he sent all their engineers down there anyway. So, I mean, yeah. Sometimes fans aren't that smart.
It's me. I'm fans.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and predict some Xfinity predictions. Colton, I'm going to let you go first. I want you to tell me who has the most wins and who is the champion in the Xfinity Series.
Ooh. Dinger's running full time, yeah.
Yeah.
Dinger has most wins. I think that's pretty fair. As much as I really don't fucking like the guy, I'm going to say Noah Gregson's your champion. I think he's just rowdy enough. He gets hot at the right time of year. I think he can do it. I mean, we saw as much as I shit on Daniel Hemrick, he did a damn good job at Phoenix, and that's really all you need. You just need to get there, and then that's it, one race.
What troubles me with that is he's at Colleague.
Yeah.
He is with AJ Allmendinger. I'm not sure that he's going to be the face of that team. I think AJ is going to get the better cars, and I think he's going to get the second best cars. And I don't know that his aggression is going to let him be as consistent as he needs to. That has always been the thing that's held him back from being a great race car driver. That is the reason he's not in the Cup Series right now. He tears up too much equipment.
I'm going to rescind my pick because your dad just had a great point in the comments. He agrees with me. Gregson's the champion. But instead of Dinger, I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs just because
come on, really? You just stole everything I had.
Sorry, low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, well, if you want to do that, then I'm going to say Ty Gibbs wins 11 races. I really don't care anymore. Like that, I don't even think it's bold. Like I think
17 wins,
11 wins. I'm going to say, you know why? That the competition in Xfinity is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. There's only a few good teams that are out there, and I think looking at the JGR 54 last year, it pretty much won with everybody who drove the car except for Ty Dillon. So, and looking how fast they were at Phoenix, I think he's a pretty good title pick too, because John Hunter Nemechek practically was ahead of the final four for like the entire race until the very end. So I don't see how Ty Gibbs doesn't win double digits in terms of race wins. I don't see how he doesn't. Like at all, it's almost too easy at this point. It's just the car is too much better. It's that much better than everybody else's.
Yeah. I guess I got to kind of piggyback on that because I can't really see anyone. I mean, Ty Gibbs really whooped the field a lot of times last year. He was only on a part-time schedule. So I could probably see the same thing happening again this year. And I think I'm going to go with the cliche of Noah Gragson finally winning the championship. Like Nathan just said, the field is kind of getting weaker and weaker. And I think with how many years Gregson's has been in the Xfinity Series, now that you would have to say he's probably like one of the top guys now. Now that like Cindric's gone, or you had your big three gone from Reddick, Bell, and Custer, I think it's his time to prove that he's the best. And if not, it's like one of those boomer bust type of deals for him.
Okay, so you guys are probably going to hate me for this. Ty Gibbs is going to win 13 races this year. 13.
Oh, so you getting more than I did.
I think 11 is too low. The dude is talented. He should have went straight to Cup, in my opinion. I think he's wasting time. He could be in that next-gen car, even as a third 2311 car that was funded. Like I think that he should be in Cup. I think he has nothing to prove. He has nothing to prove.
I know, but look at it this way. You said we could say this about Austin Cindric. We could say it about Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. Everybody goes in there and wins 8 or 9 races in Xfinity, and then they go to
So
Cup.
let him go to the Cup Series. Let him go race for a lesser funded team. Right. Let's see front row switch to Toyota like the rumors were and put him in the 38 car.
Yeah. But then the problem is if he runs 30th in his rookie season, then everyone's going to be calling, oh, he's a bust. He's a bust.
He's not a bust, though. We know that when that kid
Right.
turns 24, he's going to win a championship in the Cup Series.
Right, but
he starts
I'm not
now.
saying that. I'm just saying that at what point he has to drive a bad race car before you can declare him a future champion. And I don't think it's anything against his talent. It's just Eric Jones.
So
said it
put him
best.
in a bad race car in Cup. There's no reason for him to be in Xfinity
Eric Jones,
in
he got up
excellent
to
equipment.
Right, he got up to Furniture Row as a rookie, and those weren't even bad cars. They were, 10th to 15th place cars. And he said something on the radio. He's like, "This is terrible. I've never driven a bad race car before," and that's the problem. I feel like he's gonna get a Gibbs or 2311 ride handed to him. So I don't think he'll be terrible, but I think that it's gonna stunt his development. I think it's better for him, like Alex said, to drive a bad car. Like it would teach him.
And I think he's wasting his talent by being in Xfinity. Of course he's going to win. Put somebody else that you need to develop in Xfinity. He doesn't need to develop in a massively funded car. He needs to go out there and he needs to struggle for a year.
But I think
he needs to go straight to Cup because the only other option is the 54 Xfinity car, which is the best car in the Xfinity series. He's not learning anything. I don't agree with it.
Nate, I got problems with your statement, man.
Oh no.
Yeah, Bell and Jones went in and won, a ton of races, and should have won the championship in their Xfinity seasons that they ran down there. But neither of them won in their first few starts. Ty Gibbs did. Ty Gibbs blew the.
Let me retort you with the Bell comment here. Christopher Bell led over 100 laps in his Xfinity debut. He was wrecked by a lap car when he was leading. He won in his second or third Xfinity race. Eric Jones probably won within his first 10 Xfinity races as well. I mean, Ryan Preece won within 2 races in that car.
Ty Gibbs won his first. He finished second in his second. I think he finished second in his third, too.
Christopher Bell, if he was one lap car blowing a tire in front of him away from doing the same thing. What's to say that it's not a
Christopher
talent?
Bell's not
and you know what they did for Christopher Bell? They put him in the 95 car in Cup. Yeah, he didn't skip a year, but I mean,
but that was 2017 Iowa. The race I'm talking about was 2017. That's 3 years ago. And he won an Xfinity race before he was a full-time Xfinity driver.
And to say
that's what Ty Gibbs did too. I just think that it's a waste of time to put him in the Xfinity series. I think he should be in a Cup car, even if that's something like a front row or even a Rick Ware car. Like he needs to be getting Cup experience with the next gen car because he's going to be behind the ball because everyone that he goes and races with in 2023 is going to have 1 year of experience in the new car, and he's still going to be on the old stock car platform. It's just a waste.
I think to say that he needs to drive a bad car is not accurate either.
There's no good cars there right now in Cup. I think he just needs to be in Cup. I don't care if he's in a Rick Ware car or a Joe Gibbs car.
I just think
I agree. He needs to race something this year to get a feel for those cars. But as far as when he goes full time in a Cup, I don't even think they put him in a 2311. I think we see the 19, we see the 18 retire, and he gets a Gibbs car. I think that's their plan because there have been a ton of rumors circulating around that there's a big name guy in Gibbs that's going to step away, or they're going to lose their ride.
I think Truex. I could see Truex. I could see him if he doesn't like the car, he could still probably win a lot of races. He'll make the Final Four, and then he'll probably go out on top. I could see that happening.
I could see that with Kyle Busch.
I could see him winning the title and
a lot of different stuff. Kyle Busch is really branching out.
I don't want Kyle Busch to leave. I don't as much care because Martin Truex Jr. is already over the 40-year-old hump. I feel like it would be a disservice to fans if we lost Kyle Busch before he hit his statistical peak. If he retires at 40, if he retires at 41, I'm good. But if he retires now when he's only 37, I'm going to cry.
I agree. No, I agree completely.
I don't think I want it to happen either. And I would say that.
I totally understand if he does.
And I can tell.
Yeah.
I agree, but I think there's going to be a big ride open at Gibbs, and they have a plan for it, and that's why Ty is down the Xfinity Series this year.
Yeah.
I don't even think we see him step to a 2311 car.
I really,
he's
really
going to
just
45
want
next
him
year.
to be in the Cup Series this year. He has nothing else to prove.
We could
guys.
we could play conspiracy theory here. M&M's is leaving after this year, thus leaving the 18 unsponsored.
Monster Energy.
Monster
I
Energy.
think Rowdy Energy is going to be
There's a
on that
comment that I
car.
want to bring attention
I
to.
think that
in a
he's
minute.
not going to.
Is it the most recent one?
Yeah, I think it's just because Hamlin has said for many, many years that he was going to retire at JGR, and the number 11 is JD's. I know everybody says he's going to bring the 11 at 2311, but no, that 11 was JD Gibbs' college football number. That's that team's number. He's staying there. Like, I don't see him leaving JGR ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he has like 7 more years.
No, this is a meme, but this is also true. Drew Mason says, according to Reddit, if Bell doesn't win 45 races next year, he's out. This is
Y'all remember
exactly
when you
what
said
happened.
Bell was going to the 11?
No, this is exactly what happened to Eric Jones. Eric Jones
the
is a
20
fantastic driver. They did not let him develop, and he got pushed out to a shitty car with a 43 car. If the 20 car gets Ty Gibbs in it next year, I guarantee you it's because Truex and Busch say that the next gen car is not as bad as they thought it was going to be. They like it and they stay.
I got a good point.
Because Christopher Bell's not good enough because he hasn't won 17 fucking races by now. And I hate that Toyota and Joe Gibbs keep doing that to young drivers with all this talent.
I'm going to counter you.
I am an Eric Jones stan.
I'm going to counter you.
Jones is a fantastic driver. Yeah.
I'm going to say that the reason I think that a lot of drivers owe their careers to Toyota, I know that they get rid of them quickly. It's just like Red Bull and F1. These guys probably wouldn't even be in Cup if it wasn't for Toyota because they didn't have family money. They didn't have sponsors. Toyota was the only development program that hires guys in volume without sponsor money. They just snap them up. And yes, their chances don't last long, but those are chances that they get that they wouldn't have got anywhere else. Because some other development teams would say, oh, we don't want you. You don't have money. You know, that's like Ford. That's like Chevy. These guys, as bad as it is that they get kicked to the curb early, at least they're in Cup when they get kicked to the curb. Like, at least you could say they made it.
Yeah, no.
Let's save the conspiracy episode for later because I got a fucking huge one if we want to go down that road.
We might as well go down it.
So Ty Gibbs will not win the Xfinity Championship. I believe Josh Berry will win 4 races, including the finale at Phoenix, and be your champion. I think he's going to win Martinsville, and I think he's going to win a super speedway race and probably a mile and a half with the regular D shape, so a Kansas or a Las Vegas. I think he's going to win 4 races like that, and I think he's going to win the Phoenix racing. So we'll move on to trucks. Who's going to be the one who wins the most races? Who's going to be the one as the champion?
John Hunter Nemechek for both.
I don't know. I don't think John Hunter Nemechek's going to win the championship. I think he's just going to make his name a little bit worse. He's another one of those guys that is definitely a Cup driver, definitely a Cup talent. He's wasting his time down there. I said that all year last year. I said that he's going to bounce off 7 wins, but he's not going to win the championship. I don't know who's going to win the championship, but it's not going to be him.
Zane Smith.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, I will agree with Drew's comment here. I don't think the championship means a lot because it's one race. I mean, you saw it last year with Nemechek. So he could win 15 races. It doesn't matter. If his car blows up at Phoenix, then that's it. So.
Yeah, well, today we're not trying to shit on everything, so we won't go into that. I think we've all expressed our.
Let's save that for later in the year when it counts.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Jared,
right,
what's up? I'm gonna go with probably John Hunter also with the most wins, but I also like Zane Smith as the champion. I know that's kind of copying, but that's kind of how I see what's going to happen again.
I do like how Alex, as soon as I said a name, he was like, "Yeah, fuck it."
Yeah. Okay, so here's the problem with modern NASCAR, in my opinion. We're rushing people up to Cup, then we lose talent that we could have had longevities elsewhere, and we're seeing a changing of the guard in each of these series. Austin Cindric and Harrison Burton moving the Cup is taking a lot of talent out of Xfinity, but also Sheldon Creed. And who else is moving up to Xfinity?
Austin
Sheldon
Hill.
Creed and
Austin Hill.
Austin Hill. That's two very, very big talents moving up. It's kind of an unknown. I'm not really excited this year for the trucks like I usually am. And Matt DiBenedetto being there doesn't do anything for me. Fuck that guy. So if anything, I just want to see him further bolster his career and go into nothingness because he had it all and he blew it all because he wanted to just.
I thought you said you were trying not to be trying to be a little put down things today. Didn't you just say that a minute ago?
Yeah, but about NASCAR, I can have personal beef with certain drivers who I put emotional.
Look, man, don't shoot the person who's pointing it out.
Yeah.
You did just say let's not bring people down, and then you're like,
yeah. All right, so let's move on to the Cup Series. Let's talk about what's going to happen. Almirola is retiring, and I think Jared just brought up a good thing in our response. It's actually something I've been thinking of since he announced his retirement, and some things have been moving on. So, what do you predict about the 10 car in 2023, Jared?
Ryan Preece. He signed that deal with SHR to run some trucks, some Xfinity and development. He's basically like the Alex Bowman 2.0. He's going to wait in the wings. And that Almirola announcement that opens up the 10 car next year. And I'm 99% sure that Ryan Preece is just going to slide up in there. Number 10 car, maybe be sponsored by Hunt Brothers Pizza.
All right.
That
sounds good. Yeah.
I think
that's really hard to argue, especially with the timing of everything. I think
the writing's a wall.
Yeah.
I feel like the toughest thing is that the main hurdle is probably going to be selling Smithfield if Smithfield decides to stay after Almirola, because my concern is they're going to leave too with him. But if they stay and they sell Preece to Smithfield, then that's a done deal. But if not, that's where it gets really interesting because Christopher Bell, a free agent, Tyler Reddick, free agent. That's another big name. And I think if RCR doesn't improve, that might be a good idea to see Tony Stewart's like, hey, I really want Reddick. Everybody knows that he has a ton of talent, and
he can't do
like
anything
Colton
with those
said
damn RCR cars.
Tony missed out on Larson because Ford didn't want him last year, so he might as well get Larson 2.0.
That's my big conspiracy. I didn't want to go in the can of worms. Overview is yes. Gibbs keeps Bell through 2022 and 2023. Harvick retires after 23. Since Stewart couldn't get Larson like he wanted, he's going to get Bell. He's another big name dirt guy, tons of talent. As far as the Smithfield thing, I think Smithfield sponsors like 4 races after this season, and then kind of fizzles out into a no-name sponsor and doesn't sponsor anything. I think we see Ream. I think we see Mobile One. I think we see Gene Haas pick it up because we forget Gene Haas is a multi-billionaire. He can run all these cars out of pocket and probably not even notice it.
Okay, we're not going to go down into these conspiracies that you guys are putting in our private chat because that's too much. I have some words to say to Jared about what he just put, so we'll get into that in a couple weeks. Oh man! So with that being said, let's talk about actual predictions for the Cup Series. We have 4 races that everyone is going to tune into for the Crown Jewels. We don't have the Brickyard 400, and we will continue to say fuck you to NASCAR and bring our Brickyard 400 back. But our 4 Crown Jewels now are the Daytona 500, the Coca-Cola 600, the Bristol Night Race, and the Southern 500. So let's have your lineups for who wins them.
I got this.
And will one driver win them all?
All right. I'll go with Kurt Busch, Daytona 500. Coke 600. This is going to be a tough one, but I think I'm going to go with Kyle Larson for the Coke 600. Southern 500. I know that Kyle Larson's due for that race. He finishes second there pretty much every year, but I think Truex is going to get another Southern 500. And Bristol Night Race. Ooh. I'm going to go with Logano. So those are my 4.
500 is going to be Blaney. He's been close.
Slight bias.
He was fast. I mean, slight bias. I mean,
yeah.
No, but he was close a couple times already. He was super fast last year, and fucking grass took him out of the race. So 600, I'm going to go with Chase because I feel like this is kind of his year to knock off a few wins early. Southern 500, I'm going to go Denny. just because he's lights out of that track. And then Bristol Night Race, I'm going to go with KFB in the 18.
Oh, gosh darn it.
You can
Man,
pick
I was
these same
debating.
guys.
You can
Jared.
pick the same
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah,
Jared.
I
You
was
don't have
like-
to be unique.
I was like-
you literally had 2 of the 4 that I had written down.
Because I'm split on the couple races, so I'll let Jared go, and then we'll debate again.
All right, let's get into this. So I also had Kyle Busch winning the Bristol Night Race. I think it's time he's going to get back in the victory lane at Bristol. Like if this is the last year with M&M's, I think he's going to get M&M's one more win at Bristol. Southern 500, I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. He had a really fast car last year that no one really talks about or thinks about, but I think if there was a couple more laps, he's winning that
Oh, yeah.
race. Coke 600, Colton basically said it with Chase Elliott. I think he's gonna win it this year. I think it's time for him to win that thing. And I've had this conspiracy with my Daytona 500 prediction. It's a super hot take. I think we're gonna kick off the next gen car with the next gen driver. Harrison Burton's gonna win the Daytona 500. Wood Brother
Oh, wow.
Racing gets their 100th win. You heard it here first if that happens.
Okay.
If
That was
this is right,
unexpected.
then we're.
Oh,
we're
here
getting lottery
I
tickets.
got some stats to back that up too. Harrison Burton
Oh
in
shit, he's bringing the
in
fucking facts.
in the Xfinity series. I know it's the Xfinity series still. His average finish is 4.75 in 4 races that he's raced there. He's finished 9th the first time he was ever there. He finished 3rd, 5th, and 2nd the last 3 races.
This is an
Okay.
interesting take. Like I think
And
we've got traction here.
he's got some Ford power. He's got basically the Penske cars are always good at the restrictor plate races. Like you saw that last year. So you know that he's going to be working with the Penske guys, and that's my bold prediction for
That's
you.
honestly, I see it now. Like I laughed at it at first, but now I'm like, maybe he does have a point.
Okay. So you'll feel my personal biases here.
Oh dear, he's gonna jinx
well-
Denny, isn't he?
We're gonna start from the back, and we're gonna see a redemption from Chase Elliott to win the Bristol Night Race. And I don't like Chase Elliott, so it's not my personal bias. I just think he's gonna come back and do that. All the Chase fans are gonna have a merry August or whatever the Bristol Night Race is now. And the Southern 500, I think it goes to a Toyota. Obviously, that's going to be Denny Hamlin. That is his racetrack. That is his baby. If it's not Denny Hamlin, it will be Martin Truex Jr. So I think one of those guys that you just mentioned will win the Mother's Day race up there. They won't win the Southern 500. And we'll back up to the Coke 600. It's really hard not to go with Kyle Larson, but I think we're going to see another dominant race by not him, but the 19 in Martin Truex Jr. And we'll come back to a redemption story in Daytona where we're going to see at the Clash wrecking out of the heat race, Bubba Wallace, and then wrecking out of his duel, Bubba Wallace, and then he's going to come back and win the Daytona 500 after starting in 38th or 40th. And he's going to do it by passing his teammate Kurt Busch with 2 laps to go.
Ooh, this is a bold one right here.
Yeah,
I'm interested. Like
you guys can clip that, and we'll see what happens. And
right.
Jared has our next question for bowl predictions.
All right, let's do this. Who is your surprise winner of 2022? Kind of like an Allmendinger Almirola type like last year.
What are we
Who wants to go
classifying as
first here?
surprise odds?
Let's
A
go
first-time winner?
with a first or second time winner.
Okay.
So basically, a surprise winner is in anybody who we don't see on a regular basis. So if
Yeah,
they already got
like an
wins,
upset
like
of
a
some
Ricky
sort.
Stickhouse Jr.,
I-
he's got wins, but we haven't seen him win in quite some time. So I think would
he's
he
an
be in
upset,
that
yeah.
category?
Yeah, I would consider that, I guess.
Okay.
I would say didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, let's do that. Like non-playoff drivers who didn't
Oh man,
win
I'm on the
last
fence
year.
for this one. Oh man.
Hmm.
Oh man. Because the guy I was thinking for this is literally like usually a consistent bubble driver. So now I'm like, And I
Well,
guess if you want me to
I'll
say
go
it, I'll
with
say it.
I'll go with Eric Jones.
That's a good one. All right, mine has.
I mean, he's going to win a plate track. Talladega.
That's a good pick.
Spring.
Honestly, yeah. I think the one I was going to go with is Chris Buescher. He's like a consistent bubble driver, so I was thinking, like when you said he can't make the playoffs to be a surprise winner, and that's kind of confusing for me. But I do think that he could possibly steal a win somewhere, including the plate tracks, because he's very good on those.
Man, this one's tough. I'm going to say Ross Chastain.
Okay.
He was good at Darlington last year.
He was pretty good for a decent chunk of the season. I mean, a handful
Like
of
the
races
summer,
here and there.
especially.
Yeah,
Nashville, Coda.
I think he's going to pull the cat out of the bag in this one.
Okay. I'm going to go with Ty Dillon winning the spring Talladega race.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one.
So I took his teammate for the spring Talladega race. So if they're not 1-2 at the end of that race, we're going to look like dumbasses.
He finished third the last Talladega race he raced in 2020.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Drew says
Information
Brad.
says, yeah, on RFK equipment. I'm going to have
would
to disagree
count
with
him
that.
as a surprise winner, though.
Does he count?
That's not a
Does
surprise
Austin
winner.
Cindric count as
Austin
surprise?
Cindric on a road course? How is that a surprise? That
Yeah,
kid
that's
was
a
bred
given.
on road courses. So how about non-winners, someone who doesn't win? I guess I already alluded to mine. I don't think Brad Keselowski gets a win this year.
It is a tough one, man. It is a tough one.
Oh, man.
I'm going to say Alex Bowman does not get a win this year.
Okay, he's not going to look up for 3 times. I can see that. If we look at his 2021 races, he was either just okay or in the right spot at the right time. He was never the car to win a race, so I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got speed, but it's just like Alex said, you never really know when he's going to be fast. Like it's pretty much like he's in the middle of the pack for 3 weeks, then he's really fast for 1 week, and it just repeats for the entire season. So
and then some of the times that he's the fastest car on the track, he doesn't capitalize. He just gets lucky when he's not.
Yeah,
that's how last season felt. Yeah.
It's like I don't know what to describe. Bubba Wallace will not win in 2022. That's a comment that would probably be pretty controversial. This comment.
Next gen is the great equalizer of teams with shit tons of money. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as big of an equalizer as they think.
Is this a comment about Bubba Wallace? Is it something that we would agree to be a non-surprise winner? A non-surprise non-winner.
Like, oh man, I don't know.
He's a guy that doesn't win a lot already. Like,
yeah, it's only wins rain short. It's only wins.
If you were to say his teammate Kurt Busch, then I'd be like, that's surprising because he's
right. I think that
he's turning into Ricky Rudd. He's going to win one.
I feel like the thing with Bubba is that he has a couple really good tracks. Like he's a good super speedway racer. He has a couple short tracks he does good at, but outside of that, it's just he's kind of hard to predict. It's like a Michael Waltrip type thing where he's like really good at a certain type of track, but then everywhere else you don't know if he's going to be in the top 10. You don't know if he's going to be 20th. You have no idea.
So I think Atlanta being a super speedway race-esque track is going to help him because he was really good at passing in the 550 package. But that's also the big negative with us going to the 670 package. I think it's gonna ruin his kind of strength that he had on the big tracks. So, Jared, what about your person who doesn't win that we expect to?
I don't really want to say it, but I could also see Kyle Busch not winning a race this year because the last 2 years he's just gone on massive stretches of like not winning races, and you can even go back to his championship in 2019 where he didn't win. He won Pocono in June and then didn't win at all until Homestead that year, and then you go into 2020 and he only wins that Texas race at the end of the year, and then he wins 2 races, one in the spring and Pocono in the summer, and then doesn't win after that. So I feel like it's either one of those situations where the streak it's going to catch up to him and it's just going to be a whole long stretch, but I don't know. That's my guess. I don't want to say it because it's going to be a terrible year for me. Like I don't think I could deal with a whole year without him winning, but anything like I have no clue what his opinions are on the new car. I don't know how he's going to react to it. So, I mean, Kevin Harvick didn't win a race last year, so like it's
Right.
easy. It's easy that Kyle Busch could be that person that doesn't want to race.
Dalton's gonna be pissed when he hears that.
I know he's going to kill me, but
Yeah.
just trying to be honest here.
All right. Any other questions before we get into playoff predictions or anything like that?
Rookie of the year. Who wins Rookie of the Year?
Austin Cindric, hands down.
Harrison Burton.
Yeah. I know you're a Harrison Burton fan. Like I know that he's like a Colton's big Burton fan. So
I'm on the Harrison train, honestly.
ooh, really?
I could see.
Yeah.
Austin Cindric.
I'm still Cindric. He's got a lot of road courses, and he's in by far probably the best car of the rookies. So,
see, I think Harrison moving up. Like I know he doesn't have much Cup experience, but since this is a new car, I think he jumped to Cup at like the prime time right now. So I could see him doing pretty well this
Hear
year.
me out. How many years did Austin Cindric race in Xfinity before he won a race?
I think
Like
two.
two, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but he raced for the 60 car at Roush one of those years.
Don't give a shit. Didn't run well.
That doesn't even count. That car was
He
fucking
did
trash.
drive Penske for half
So he
that
had a
year.
full season. So he had one season. Cindric is one, even with ovals. We saw this with ovals. He takes a little while to get acclimated, especially with the new car coming in. He's going to be good. I still think he probably wins a race, but Harrison Burton is one that as soon as he gets in a car, he's got enough talent. I think he's going to do well.
Except for he
you're
went
wrong.
winless in his second Xfinity season. We're going to
I
ignore
think
that.
you're wrong. Okay,
We are
so
gonna-
Harrison Burton.
Yeah.
Harrison Burton, he's good, right?
Right.
He's a great driver. No, talent, whatever. Austin Cindric has been driving cars on road courses for quite a while. He's got a way more Trans Am starts than Harrison Burton does, if Harrison Burton has any Trans Am at all. And I think these next gen cars are more akin to a Trans Am's type stock car than they are a NASCAR type stock car. So I think that he's got the advantage because he's driven cars that are built for road course racing.
I think I'm going to have to go with Alex on this one just because we saw Harrison Burton. I thought Harrison Burton was going to either win the title or make the Final Four last year in Xfinity. You know, like he had the crew chief, he had a great car, and then, you know, he's all of a sudden a part-time Ty Gibbs is destroying his full-time teammates. And it's like, what just happened, you know?
Yeah, and let's look back at what it was, 2020. He started Xfinity, so 2019 when he was in Cup. What did everybody say when he didn't win in trucks? They said Xfinity is going to do him better because the trucks aren't raced like the late models that he's very good in. Well, he got to Xfinity and he did well. And then what was last year's excuse? What was his excuse last year? He was in those cars that were supposed to pertain to his talents. So what happened?
Chief.
Who was his crew chief last year?
Fuck if I know.
Was it Jason Ratcliffe? I think it was.
I'm not sure. I didn't look it up.
You should win in your first year if you have Jason Ratcliffe. Like you should win in your first year with that guy.
He did win. He won 4 races in his first year. I want to pull this up. He didn't perform as well in the 20 belt in the same equipment. He still won 4 races in his rookie season. He won the 5th race of the season. 6th race. Sorry.
Right. What about the sophomore season though?
He wouldn't change crew chief.
I will say this: who is the? Is Matt Borland the crew chief over at the 21? I think he is the guy that
overall. We're not comparing Harrison to Harrison. We're comparing Harrison to Cindric.
Right. I will say he's probably got a better staff for himself once we get to the 21 car, but Austin Cindric is in the 2 car.
Truex won a championship in the 78 car. So I don't want to hear shit about
Truex had Cole Pern.
Yeah, Martin Truex was an experienced driver. He knew what he was doing. Cole Pern also knew what he was doing, and he was in a Toyota.
Yeah. So
I don't think Cole is doing that anytime soon.
We're getting close to the end of the show, so let's go ahead and go. Who are your playoff drivers? If you don't want to list all 16, I guess just give me.
Oh, I got it.
What you got? And then
I will give you surprise.
I'll give you final
surprise outs.
Yeah, surprise in, surprise outs. Let's do that. 4 drivers you think will make the cut that you're not expecting to. 4 drivers that, 2 drivers that will miss the cut that you don't expect to. And give me your final 4. but
No
we're not
idea.
going to pick champions.
I know my
yet
final
because-
four. I just don't know anything else.
Okay, well, start out with your final four, and then while everybody
All right.
else is saying
Let's-
theirs, get your stuff ready for the next question.
All right. So my final four is going to be in no order. I think you'll have Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Truex, and who would that fourth one be? Larson. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I was forgetting Larson, but that's my final four if I had to pick.
My final four is going to be Larson, Truex, Elliott, Blaney.
Larson, Hamlin, Elliott, Blaney.
Hey, I got another Blaney.
Blaney's the best driver at Penske right now.
Oh,
Going
yeah.
into this next season.
It's just a matter of whether Penske's
What,
going to step up or not.
whenever Joey Logano gets out of his slump, he's going to definitely bounce over Ryan Blaney, I think.
Yeah, I think that's this year.
But if he's still in his slump this year, the 12 car is the best car.
They're getting rid of 550, man. I think Logano was really good at the 750s last year. So I think if they're going to a low downforce package everywhere, I think it's going to bump him right back up to where he was.
So, Jared, you're muted right now.
My bad. Can you hear me? We're good?
Yeah. So, your
Final
final four.
Final four: Blaney, Larson, Hamlin, Elliott.
All right. So, four guys that you expect to be in – that you don't expect to be in the playoffs that will get in.
Oh, man.
I got this one. I got 4 Bs on my list that I think are going to be in the playoffs. And I think 2 of them are surprise you guys. I'm going to go with Buescher, I think makes it. I think Bubba makes it. I think Briscoe makes it. And I think Harrison Burton makes it.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go second here. So Harrison Burton's going to make it. I think Austin Cindric would be too easy of a pick. He's probably going to make it. But since he's a rookie, I'll put him on my list as well. I can agree with the Bubba Wallace thing, but I do want to say a little bit about Chase Briscoe. The only reason I'm saying Chase Briscoe is going to make it, he hasn't had very good seasons so far in Cup. I think this car, since he, like Austin Cindric, has those years in Trans Am and road racing, I think this car is going to suit his style better. So I think
Yeah, Justin Haley could get
That's a
in.
good point.
Justin Haley could be an
He's
upset.
like
Get
a
in.
super speedway ace. I mean,
What if we see the first walk-off Daytona win this year?
Justin Haley could win that. Yeah.
Justin Haley comes from
Corey
26
LaJoy almost did it
points.
last year.
Yeah, I mean, kind of
Oh,
thing.
man.
Like I had money on Corey LaJoy. He won me $60 off a $1 bet.
Yeah, I kind of had the list that I was trying to. I have so many scribbles and stuff written down. I had Buescher and Briscoe as this making it in this year. I could see Buescher finally getting over that hump, and I don't think he'll make it past the first round, but I could at least see him make it.
I just don't think the RFK is going to be as good as everybody's putting it out to be just because the two's there. I don't think Buescher makes it.
I mean, nobody probably thought SHR was going to be that good when Tony Stewart moved, and he did pretty well.
Yeah, that's true. I think if I'm picking my 4, Buescher is definitely at the top of my list. I think he's going to get in. Chase Briscoe, he was really good in some races last year, so I think if SHR gets better, then he'll probably get in. I think he could potentially be up there with Almirola as like the second best SHR driver. I'm not putting that past him. Oh man, this where it gets really tough. I think, like Colton said, I think there's a potential with Harrison Burton. You never know. He could squeak his way in there, but I like the Colleague idea. I think if they're going to steal a road course win or steal like a super speedway, I think that the last spot's going to go to one of those guys.
Yeah. All right, so 2 guys that are historically playoff drivers that won't make it in. I'll go first. I've already said his name, Brad Keselowski. I don't think the 6 guards are going to make it in. I think everybody is putting way too many eggs in the basket for Roush to be good just because Brad's there. He is a great businessman. He does know what he's doing behind the wheel. I don't think that he's enough to bring Roush out of the slump that they've been in for the past 6 to 8 seasons. And also, Kurt Busch will not be a playoff driver this year. He's going to get his one win, but he is going to do it in the playoffs from outside of the playoffs. So I could see him winning at a mile and a half in the playoffs, particularly Homestead or Las Vegas, but he will not do it as a playoff driver.
Interesting.
That's a strong one.
You know, your Brad thing, a little out of context, but Kenseth finished second in Indy in 2020 in pretty much that same equipment. I mean, he was really rebounding that team. I'm interested to see a full season with a guy like Brad does.
The thing that he has going for him is he's with TJ Majors.
I think he's going to be a bubble driver. Don't get me wrong.
I think that that's going to elevate his car because he and TJ working together are going to make that car about 6 spots higher than it actually is.
Yeah. Chad, Steve, if you're watching, I'm going to shit on your parade. I'm sorry. Kurt Busch is missing the playoffs, and Alex Bowman is missing the playoffs. Alex Bowman is
those are big.
Incredibly inconsistent. Even with his 4 wins, he had an average finish of just below 14 this last year. You take away those 2 wins early in the season, he's not making the playoffs. Well, I guess he had 3. He's not making the playoffs. Sorry.
Man, that's tough. I think Kurt Busch is going to win a race during the regular season.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
Like, I just can't see him not. You know, it's
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't have a 4 yet that I could think of that won't make it for sure. But
I only listed 2. I mean, I don't think
and
I don't think McDowell makes it as well.
Yeah, there's no way.
Well, I mean, he's not really historically a playoff driver.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's enough early season predictions. We won't go on to Cup champions because it's really just a crapshoot. If you make it to the Final Four, which we've all listed our Final Fours, you're probably some of the best drivers out there, unless you just get lucky, like Logano did his championship season.
Jimmy Johnson, 2016, that was another luck. That was probably the worst one.
Yeah. So I think you guys know where we're at. Thank you guys for sticking around for this hour and a half episode. Steve, get better. We'll see you in, I think that's 2 weeks on February 2nd. I don't know how to look at a calendar right now.
I think that's 2 weeks. Next week's the 26th, and the week after is the 2nd.
All right. Well, guess what? That means I will be here. I'm not working at 4 to 12 that week, so we will all 4 be here for that. I'm super excited about that. A little bit of stuff before we go. Colton and Jared's podcast, we will be streaming that on Friday at the normal 7:30 time. Our esports stuff has kicked off, so go check out some of that stuff on fanfuelmotorsports.com. Our other content for Real World Motorsports will be kicking and ramping up as we start getting stuff here. We told you a couple weeks ago that we're going to have a pretty good spread on open wheel IMSA, supercars, and all things NASCAR and dirt over here on Stateside. And as far as everything else, check us out on Instagram. We are at FanFuelMSM over there, all lowercase because that's what Instagram does. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, you can at FanFuel MSM, capital F, capital MSM. Both of those, fanfuelmotorsports.com. As always, let us know if you want to be a part of that. Send us some articles, send us some photos, send us something about yourself. We'll spotlight you over there, and we'll spotlight your endeavors of local racing all the way up to the national and international stage. Anything that you want, we want to get out to the rest of our fans so we can tell each of our stories to each of our other fellow fans. And as we just threw up on the bottom of the screen, big episode next week, 7:30, same time as this week. Jeremy Clements will be on. He's going to be our first driver of the year. And we got a lot to say to Jeremy. He's been a friend of my dad's for quite some time now. So we'll also have my dad back on for that show. And it should be a great show. So check in for that. And also, I think that's it. Anything from you guys before we check out?
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. So see you guys next week, and we'll see Jeremy Clements there too. Join us over there. Follow us, everything I just said. And all right, bye.